What's going on, everybody? Bulldog here, coming at you again from the inside of my truck. Beautiful, sunshiny day out here in Laredo, Texas. Sorry, doing that for the light. So this video I wanted to go over as an owner-operator costs, how to figure your costs. A lot of what I've seen talks about your cost per mile. Trying to figure out your cost per mile is difficult when you're trying to budget, because what you're doing is you're banking on 2,000 miles, 2,500 miles, 3,000 miles, whatever you're doing. So when you're figuring your cost per mile, it fluctuates every week if you're running mileage. It's definitely good for, say, a profit and loss statement, or maybe, no, I don't want to say tax deductions, but it's great for a profit and loss statement, where you can figure out how many miles you ran, how much it cost you over that course. But what I'm seeing that a lot of people are not mentioning is that budget. What I do personally is a cost per day analysis, or a cost per week. Again, this is going to fluctuate as well because of your fuel costs. But when you, I don't know why the camera went out of focus for a second. But when you're figuring your cost, it's going to benefit you more to know how much you need to make each day. And that is why I personally preach on percentage-based load boards, where you are the one that determines how much money you make. Whether you be lease driver, whether you be an owner-op, basically running it like an owner-op instead of an independent contractor. So me personally, what I do is I break down my truck payment of $1,423 a month, which roughly comes out a little bit more than $350 a week. I take that $350 and then I divide that down into 7 days. Just to make my truck payment, I have to make $50 a day. I don't know what is wrong with my camera focus. Maybe that's going to help us a little bit. I need to make $50 a day to cover that. My insurance runs me about $200 a week. Therefore, I need to make about $30. We're up to $80 a day now. My fuel, based on roughly my last 6 weeks average, I'm using about $1,000 to $1,100 in fuel a week. So that breaks down to about $180 a day. So we're at $260 a day. What else do I have? I'm sure everybody watching this is going to be screaming inside their heads. Maintenance. If you want to put, say, $100 a day into your maintenance account, well, there's $300 a day that you have to make. And then, if you're running load boards or whatever, or working for a company where you can run load boards, you would look at that and you'd say, well, right there is $350 a day. So $350 a day, 7 days. So just to break even, you'll have to make about $2,300, give or take. Just rough math off the top of my head. But $2,300 a week, and that's to break even, or at least for me personally. And then, of course, anything above that is profit. I run my own maintenance account. I pay my own truck payment out of my bank account. I don't have it taken out by a company. We're going to try this, see if maybe it'll focus a little better. I don't have it taken out by a company. I don't have anything held extra like that. But for those of you that do, you need to factor in those costs. Those of you who are leasing from a company, you know that, say, $700 a week is your truck payment. Then you know you have to make $100 a day just to cover the truck payment, plus your fuel and everything else like that. So doing the cost per mile is great on a profit and loss statement when you're trying to figure out maybe where you can do better. Like I'll break down my fuel and say, just throwing a number out there because I haven't done my profit and loss yet, 40 cents a mile. I'll figure that it was 40 cents a mile. Well, I look at that and go, okay, well, based on the number of gallons purchased and the number of miles I drove, I averaged 6 miles per gallon. And then I go, well, okay, if I can make that 6.5, I can cut, 4 cents a mile. I don't know the exact numbers. I haven't gone into that yet on my end. And then, that 4 cents a mile or $100 every week or whatever, that adds up, and that's going to be $5,200 more in your pocket at the end of the year. So it's good for profit and loss, but for a personal budget, when you need to know how much you've got to pay out each week, then that's where you're figuring out your cost per day is more beneficial, so that it helps you figure out how much and where you need to run, or how much you need to run. Like, say I want to take a week off. Well, I mean, the truck payment I can make up, but given that the truck payment's $350 a week, I won't have fuel if I take that week off, so that's a zero there. But I'm still going to have the $200 for the insurance and plates for that week. Gosh, I feel like there's other fees that I need to be including, but I just can't think of them. Let me know in the comments if you think of some. But with those, I'll only have to have an extra $500 to take a week off. Now, granted, I personally know that number sounds pretty low, so I'm going to want to have an extra $1,000 to make up for that week. So it definitely helps you look at your pay a different way. If you're a mileage driver and you realize that you have to make $250 a day, you're getting paid $1 a mile. I don't know what all the rates are right now for the people leased on to the other companies. But say you're making $1 a mile, you have to make, actually $250 even sounds low for that. Say you have to make $500 a day to break even, with your fuel and everything else. At that point, what you're going to want to do is you're going to say, all right, well, at $1 a mile, I'm going to have to run 500 miles a day at 7 days, or to cover 7 days. So you're going to have to get 3,500 miles that week. Now, granted, everybody's numbers will vary. My numbers may not be typical or indicative of your numbers. But, it's just my 2 cents out there. Just wanted to throw that out there. Y'all have a good day. be safe, and I'll see you on the back haul.